And then kind of walk me through, too, because you left and went to work after that. She called 911, and then...
And then I wasn't here. My helper was pulling here. And then I waited a few minutes, and then the 911 crew came. So after that, I left. And then I came back home. I saw those crews still searching for him.
This is just awful. A nearly week-long search for missing 10-year-old boy in Kentucky ends with the discovery of his buried body. Now his mother is charged in his death. This is Jayden Spicer. He was last seen in Jackson, Kentucky, which is over an hour away from Lexington. Police say his remains were found buried in a heavily wooded area not far from where he went missing. Tuesday, after his body was discovered, officials quickly shifted their focus to a criminal investigation.
This incident has now transitioned from a missing person investigation into an active and ongoing criminal investigation. With that, we must advise that specific details regarding this investigation cannot be released at this time. It is our top priority to protect the integrity of this investigation and seek justice for Jayden.
I think I speak for an entire community when I say that we are devastated and collectively broken over this. I would like to assure the public that now, thanks to these guys, Jayden is now in good hands, and we're going to take care of him. Thank you.
Jayden's mother, Felicia Gross, is facing multiple charges, including second-degree manslaughter in connection to the 10-year-old's death. We're asking this morning, what other outstanding questions do you have about the way Jayden Spicer's disappearance and death occurred? Let's bring in our power panel now. Still with me, the sheriff in Erie County, Pennsylvania, Chris Campanelli, and retired FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffindaffer. Great to have you both on this. Agent Coffindaffer, let me begin with you here, please. What outstanding questions do you have about this child's death and disappearance, please?
Well, of course, we want to hear the manner and causation, exactly what happened to that child. And believe me, that autopsy is going to tell us a lot of information whenever those results come back. You know, he was taken 18.5 miles, and recall that mutilation of a corpse has also been charged. What did she do to his body after he died? These are questions that just jump to mind.
Yeah, most definitely, Jennifer. Sheriff Campanelli, let me ask you the same question. What sticks out in your mind the most when it comes to the unanswered questions about this case?
First of all, I think our hearts go out to the family of this child. It's a horrific event. I would like to find out and ask her what could cause her to act in such a way and to do such a thing to a child, and her own child at that. It's just unfathomable to me.
It really is, Sheriff. You know, when we think about this search, first it was, oh, my child went missing and it was late at night and he's in his pajamas and she's begging people for help. And then we find the child buried in this shallow grave. And then suddenly, you know, the cuffs are on mom, and it's a big shift from the way America was looking at mom and now how they're looking at things this morning. She's 33 years old, and apparently there's a handwritten note that we have. I want to put it up on your screen here now. Let's take a look. So she's talking about loving her child, wanting him to be home safe. Report this if you know anything, blah, 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 blah. What is this? What is this exactly that we're looking at here? Agent Coffindaffer, what do you make of this attempt by mom here?
Well, I see it as sort of a rambling consciousness where she wants to put something to paper, where she can say she loves him, absolutely self-serving. How many cases have we seen like this? It reminds me a little bit of Susan Smith. We see so many cases right now of missing, like Sebastian Rogers with similar type stories, Summer Wells, Jill and Lily Sullivan. You look at those cases and wow, such similarities, but yet in this case, because a body has been found, we're going to have, a culmination and adjudication.
Sheriff, looking at that note, I want to ask you the same thing. What do you see when you read this note written by mom? We know now she's the accused, hasn't been convicted, just accused at this point, cloaked in the presumption of innocence. What do you think she's angling to do with that note?
I mean, obviously, from my perspective, it looks like she's deflecting suspicion off of herself is what she's trying to do. She wants authorities to believe that she's this loving mother. Obviously, they have some type of evidence against her, so we'll have to see what happens.
Yes. Let's talk about more of what we know about this woman. Felicia Gross is her name. She's 33. Her charges right now, this morning, these could always be amended, but as of right now, it's second-degree manslaughter, abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and falsely reporting an incident. According to the Lexington Herald Leader, court records show involvement with Child Protective Services in the past. A woman named Felicia Spicer, same age, has a conviction for a misdemeanor charge of endangering the welfare of a minor that dates back to 2015. Sounds like the same person to me. That they're talking about, just different last name. We know his last name is Spicer, so I think putting two and two together, we can see perhaps a pattern here. Oh, I don't know. Agent Coffindeffer, what do you think? We're wondering this morning, is mom here going to be the only person charged? Should she be? Do you suspect anyone else may have allegedly been involved here?
Well, what I find interesting, Julie, is that it's second-degree manslaughter, right? Which indicates that there was no intent to particularly harm, but your negligence or recklessness caused his death. So I find that very interesting. Was this something that was truly accidental, like some sort of overdose of some nature or something like that, and was not particularly intended? But then you look at the past, and you look at those charges. Listen, people who have the ability to abuse a child, I mean, that's as bad as it gets, Julie, and they can continue doing that in the future without any hesitation, unfortunately.
Right, Jennifer. I love what you said, and I'm in agreement with you. This is telling us something. They've charged manslaughter, not murder, for some reason. We don't know why yet, and as you pointed out, Jennifer, could it be that something terrible, albeit, accidental, but terribly negligent, horrific, maybe drugs? That's what popped into my mind. Sheriff, I'm wondering, I mean, fentanyl exposure, I'm sure you see a lot of that where you are in cases that you have. What are your thoughts when you saw manslaughter, not murder, charged here?
Honestly, I was very surprised as well. And like we were saying, someone that has abused a child in the past, the past is the biggest predictor of the future. So we'll have to wait and see what the evidence provides. But I can foresee in the future there may be a change in that charge.
That's another great point too, Sheriff. It may be amended. Maybe it becomes murder. Again, we don't know the circumstances. We're just putting forth some educated guesses based on what we know and mom's history here, which is not good. It was a grandmother who had been taking care of little Jayden, and she recently passed away, and then he was put back into the custody of his mom, and sadly didn't make it out alive. Jennifer Coffindeffer, does this story make you think of the Sebastian Rogers case?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, such similar situation, right? Prior CPS, walked out of his house in the middle of the night, although there's no camera footage of anyone leaving in the middle of the night, never seen again. It's so similar to that case in terms of the facts that we have at hand anyway. So yes, definitely so.
Yeah, I had a feeling you might say that as you followed that one from the outset, like this one, and that's what I just keep thinking of. It just reminds me so much of the pajamas, late at night. It just, with mom, yeah, it's just incredibly upsetting. We still don't have answers with that one. We'll leave it here for just a moment. I have to say goodbye and a big thank you to you both for the great analysis. Special Agent Jennifer Coffindeffer, Sheriff Chris Campanelli, thank you both kindly. We're going to continue our coverage about the Jayden Spicer case in just a moment. We'll hit a break. When we come back, we're spotlighting the public outcry A lot of people upset about what happened to that little boy. And we've got a Kentucky state senator joining us on the program live next. Welcome back. This morning, we're continuing spotlighting the case of Jayden Spicer, specifically the public outcry for justice for him. The 10-year-old's body was found Tuesday buried in a heavily wooded area not far from where he went missing. His mother, Felicia Gross, is facing multiple charges, including second-degree manslaughter in connection to her son's death. The prosecuting attorney addressed the public response to this case while assuring justice for Jayden.
I'd like to take a moment to extend my condolences to the people who loved and cared about Jayden. While this is not the outcome that we had hoped for, we certainly are grateful that we were able to bring him out of the woods today. I'm sorry, guys, this is hard. Finally, I'd just like to say that the outpouring of love and support as a result of this has been absolutely remarkable. And it appears that there are people all over the world that love and care for this baby. Because of that, I would like to assure the public that now, thanks to these guys, Jayden is now in good hands.
Let's talk about this some more with Kentucky State Senator Brandon Smith. Brandon, good morning to you. I understand you joined in the search efforts to find this precious little boy. Tell us a little bit about that experience, if you would, please.
Well, I, like so many other people, had been following the story and had a lot of questions. I was curious early on why, like, an Amber Alert hadn't gone out, that more information was not available. And so when they finally asked the public to start searching, that's exactly what I did. And I hopped on a bike that I've got, and that way I could cover a lot of ground and get back in rough area. And so I went straight to ground zero. And this is tough terrain, and you've got a lot of homes that are off the beaten path for a reason. They don't want to be bothered. They don't want you trespassing on their property. And so it's a difficult area to get into, and there's a lot of other issues that you need to be careful about when you're out doing one of these searches.
Sure. Senator, of course, this was not the result that anybody wanted. Would you tell us what the public sentiment has been like throughout this process, throughout all of the days where everybody was still hopeful, and now with this terrible news that we just received?
Well, hope and anger. A lot of the people were very hopeful that he would be found. I felt like that he would be found. I thought the whole time that I was searching that he was probably hiding. I felt like he, from just feedback I was getting, was probably in a very difficult situation at home, and that if he'd gotten away from them, that he was going to hide. And so having been an old Boy Scout leader myself, I felt like I knew some good places to look for him, but that he would maybe respond to me and come when I called his name. And I shared some videos of where I was searching for him, so people would know not to search those areas that had already been there. But also I wanted the camera on to make sure that that people knew I wasn't trespassing or nothing, or trying to get on their property illegally. And that's another part about it, is making sure when you're searching that you give people notice and let them know that you're there.
Mm-hmm. Smart, Senator. How about throughout the time period that you were there on the ground and saw other people also searching, did you ever happen to see this child's mom, Felicia Gross, around looking?
No, and I didn't. And I will tell you, I did not see other people out searching. And that could be because they'd already had been through there. I'm not sure. But I met an individual kind of right earlier in the day, right off the bat, that had some information that he had witnessed. And it was very alarming information. But what he shared with me was that he had seen a car come by his grandmother's house, and that he noticed it through the trees because there was a child in it screaming. Now, this is hard for me to share with you. And he said he noticed that car and saw it and where it was going. And then he just said something about it didn't set right. He went to sleep. He woke up the next morning. He saw where the child was missing. And then he reported the information and a description of the car that he heard. But in my had as a parent, just thinking about the child in the car screaming, it was just really difficult for me. And so he showed me an area. We went to the place where he saw the car. And I began literally searching every single road, path, driveway, home, well, garbage dumps, and the anxiety. And I don't know if they've shared some of the video with you all of lifting up some of those mattresses and going through the dump was really difficult for me to think that I'd see a little pair of pajamas there or something. It was really very, very difficult search.
Senator, do you know if this information from this man who witnessed something, we don't know exactly what, do you know if it had anything to do with Jayden Spicer's case? Did law enforcement tie it together? Was it him in that car?
I did not ask because the state police, their job's tough enough the way it is. He had told me that he had already made the authorities aware of it, so I assumed they were also on it. And I just took what he had and went with myself to go do it. But no, I've never found out what if that was her car, if they ever identified the car. I do think they know who the owner of that car was, and it could have been a case where it was just a mistaken identity. It may not have been the case. It may not have been her car at all. That stuff I don't know. The state police will know that, and but that was information that I had from literally being, boots on the ground, being there, and so he gave me a good search grid. I know as a father with kids in the car that when they're screaming, I don't figure you're going to go very far, and if the child's really screaming, that I kept thinking that she may pull over, maybe have thrown him out, and it just gave me hope. I really was crushed by this when I got home yesterday and found out that they had found him and he was no longer with us, because up until that moment I was on the team that felt like this little guy was hiding and that we would find him.
I think we all hope that as well, Senator. There's a lot we don't know because the affidavit of probable cause is not public yet, so we'll look for that piece of information you shared. Perhaps it's tied in here, perhaps not. Curious if you know anything as to why law enforcement charged manslaughter rather than another homicide charge that may have been available or more appropriate under the circumstances. Do you know, Senator?
I don't, and I just like most people thinking about it, I assume that it's because she cooperated and did take them to his body, which I'm thankful for. This is something that she could have taken to her grave. We may have never found this baby. And it could be that there are other people involved, and maybe she, they're wanting to give her some room in order to, work with them if there were other people involved. But I'm not really sure. I know people are they're upset by it, they're outraged by it, and for good reason. But right now we just have to trust the process and let these professional men and women do their job.
Yes, it seems they're quite committed to justice for little Jayden, based on what we saw, in just the preliminary remarks with that press conference yesterday. Senator Brandon Smith, state senator in Kentucky, where this awful tragedy occurred. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, giving us the information you were able to, and every good wish as things move forward in Kentucky for everyone there as they continue healing from this awful death.
Thank you all for covering it.
Certainly.